Hi everyone! I just wanted to read you guys a couple of books. The first book I'm going to read is a class favorite. Thank you, Amelia Bedelia. This is a loved book. So thank you, Amelia Bedelia. Top of the book, bottom of the book, front of the book, back of the book, spine of the book, open the book. Thank you, Amelia Bedelia. Let's read. Mrs. Rogers was all in a dither. Great Aunt Myra is coming today. Now that is nice, said Amelia Bedelia. I do love company. We've been trying for years to get her to visit, said Mrs. Rogers, but Great Aunt Myra says the only place she feels at home is at home. So everything must be exactly right. We do want her to be happy here. Now don't you worry your head, said Amelia Bedelia. I'll fix everything. What should I do first? Well, the guest room must be made ready. Strip the sheets off the bed. Remake it with the new rosebud sheets, said Mrs. Rogers. Thank goodness you're here. Amelia Bedelia went to the guest room. These folks sure do have odd ways. Imagine stripping sheets after you use them. What do you think she's going to do? Amelia Bedelia shook her head, but she stripped those sheets. Is she supposed to do that? Amelia Bedelia had just finished when the doorbell rang. That must be the laundryman with Mr. Rogers' shirts, called Mrs. Rogers. Please check them and make sure they're all there. Amelia Bedelia hurried to the door and took the package. Amelia Bedelia opened the package. She unfolded each shirt. 2 sleeves, 1 collar, 1 pocket, and 6 buttons. Yes, they're all here. What's she going to do now? There is not a thing missing, said Amelia Bedelia. Now to check them. It'll be a sight easier to buy them already checked, said Amelia Bedelia, but she quickly checked each shirt. Do you think she was supposed to check the shirts? Mrs. Rogers came downstairs in a rush. Amelia Bedelia, my bright pink dress has spots in it. Please remove them with the spot remover. Leave the dress out. I'll wear it tonight. Now I must go to the market. Amelia Bedelia looked at the bright pink dress. I don't see any spots. This dress just needs washing. Then another dress caught Amelia Bedelia's eye. Uh-oh. She must have meant her light pink dress. Now that one sure is spotted. Amelia Bedelia held the dress up. Looks mighty nice with the spots in it, but I guess she's tired of it that way. Amelia Bedelia put spot remover on each spot. Then she waited. Nothing happened. Didn't think that stuff would work, said Amelia Bedelia. She got the scissors, and Amelia Bedelia removed every spot from that dress. Oh no. Do you think Mrs. Rogers is going to be very happy about that? I don't think so. Amelia Bedelia, called Mrs. Rogers, please take these groceries. Amelia Bedelia ran to take the bag. Here's some roses, too. Do scatter them around the living room. I must get my hair done now. While I'm gone, wash all the vegetables and string the beans. If you have time, make a jelly roll. Great Aunt Myra does love a jelly roll, said Mrs. Rogers. Amelia Bedelia stopped in the living room. Seems like roses would look nice sitting proper like in vases. But if she wants them scattered, scattered they will be. She's throwing the roses in the air. Do you think the roses should go in the air? I don't think so. Amelia Bedelia went to the kitchen with the groceries. She washed all the vegetables. Then she found a ball of string and Amelia Bedelia strung all those beans. When I was little, stringing beans meant breaking them. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. Silly Amelia Bedelia. Jelly roll! Exclaimed Amelia Bedelia. I never heard tell of jelly rolling. But Amelia Bedelia got out a jar of jelly. Amelia Bedelia tried again and again, but she just could not get that jelly to roll. Is jelly supposed to roll? Amelia Bedelia washed her hands. She got out a mixing bowl. Amelia Bedelia began to mix a little this and a pinch of that. Great Aunt Myra or no Great Aunt Myra, there's not going to be any rolling jelly in this house tonight, said Amelia Bedelia. What do you think she's making? Mr. and Mrs. Rogers arrived home at the same time. Mrs. Rogers called, Amelia Bedelia, please separate 3 eggs and pare the other vegetables you washed. I'll do the cooking. Then she and Mr. Rogers hurried upstairs to dress. What do you think they're going to find upstairs? Amelia Bedelia took out 3 eggs. I wonder why they need to be separated. They've been together all day and nothing's happened. But Amelia Bedelia separated those eggs. Pare the vegetables, Amelia Bedelia laughed. Here you two go together, and you two. Now be careful, or I'll be separating you too. Amelia Bedelia went up to Mrs. Rogers' room. What should I do with these stripped sheets? She asked. Stripped sheets, exclaimed Mrs. Rogers, but she got no further. Mr. Rogers roared, What in thunderation happened to my shirts? Oh, you don't like big checks. I didn't have time to do little ones, but I will next time, promised Amelia Bedelia. I don't think he's very happy about the shirt. My dress! Exclaimed Mrs. Rogers. It's full of holes. Yes, ma'am. I removed every spot, said Amelia Bedelia. Before Mrs. Rogers could say any more, the doorbell rang. Great Aunt Myra, said Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. They rushed to the front door. Good evening, grandniece. Good evening, grandnephew. My, that trip has made me hungry, said Great Aunt Myra. I'll cook dinner right now, said Mrs. Rogers. Everyone went into the kitchen. Amelia Bedelia, did you string the beans? Asked Mrs. Rogers. Yes, see, they do give such a homey look, said Amelia Bedelia. How can they eat them hung up like that? Would you eat them hung up like that? That might be a fun game. Where are the eggs I asked you to separate? Said Mrs. Rogers. Here's one. One is behind the clock, and the other is over there. Did I separate them far enough? Asked Amelia Bedelia. Mrs. Rogers said nothing, so Amelia Bedelia went on. And I pared the vegetables. They went together really well, and there weren't any left over. Mrs. Rogers slapped her hand on the table. Ooh, it hit right into a sticky blob. Oh, what is that? She shouted. The vegetables. What is that? Do you remember? Jelly. I tried to make it roll, but he's plip-plopped all over the place, said Amelia Bedelia. Amelia Bedelia, exclaimed Mrs. Rogers. How do you get things so mixed up? Things mixed up. Oh, I plumb forgot, said Amelia Bedelia. She hurried to the stove. What's in the stove? Amelia Bedelia opened the oven door. Great Aunt Myra sat up straight and sniffed. Hot apple pie, I do declare. Now that's the kind of mixed up thing I like. Great Aunt Myra announced, Grandniece, grandnephew, I like it here. Oh, Great Aunt Myra, we're so glad, said Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. They both began to talk at once, but Great Aunt Myra wasn't much for words. She had her eyes on that last piece of pie. Great Aunt Myra put the last piece of pie on her plate. Then she said, "Grandniece, grandnephew, I will visit you often. That Amelia Bedelia really knows how to make a body feel at home. Thank you, Amelia Bedelia." Amelia Bedelia smiled. She and Great Aunt Myra would get along. Hey, that's the end of Thank You, Amelia Bedelia. I'll see you for the next book.